Hi, hello everyone. This week we are drawing Mario, and we'll do him step by step together. And you can see this is my example here. And he didn't exactly turn out perfect. I'm not very happy with his hat looks kind of squished in, but I left it because it's a good lesson in that sometimes things don't turn out the way you had planned, and it's okay. You can move forward and be fine. I'm planning to draw him again. As you guys know, I'll probably draw him about 27 more times because I draw it with every group. And then I'll just learn from that. I'll improve it and make it better. So keep that sort of thing in mind as you're drawing him. I'm sure he's not going to come out absolutely perfect because we're not little robots cranking out the exact same art every day. We're people, okay? And mistakes are okay. All right. So for this project, you need paper, pencil, Sharpie if you have it. In fact, speaking of Sharpie, I drew mine. I just went straight to Sharpie and I skipped the pencil step. You can do that too if you're comfortable with it. If you're not comfortable with it, you can do pencil, pause it, trace over it with Sharpie. And then, of course, something to color with. I used a combination of colored pencils and Sharpie, but you can color with just about anything, okay? So let's get our stuff together and get started. All right, friends, so we're going to try skipping the pencil step and going straight to the Sharpie. If you are one of my younger friends, like especially if you're in kindergarten, you probably aren't ready for that. You probably want to use a pencil. Or if you're one of our older friends, regardless of how old you are, if it makes you feel nervous and uncomfortable, the thought of going straight to Sharpie and skipping pencil, you are welcome to draw it in pencil, then hit pause and trace over it with Sharpie. If you don't have a Sharpie, you can always use a regular black marker or a black crayon, a black colored pencil, whatever it is that you have. So we're going to start with his nose, and if you find the middle of your paper, like right now I have my finger in the middle, and it's going to be just a little bit above the middle, which is, notice how I move up and over to the left just a bit. That way we have enough room for Mario's body, and I'm going to draw a C, and that is for his nose. Now, because this is his nose, we want to close the C in just a little bit, not too much, just a little. And then we're going to add his left eye. And his left eye is going to look like it's coming right out of his nose. Okay, we know in reality it's not, but this is because of the angle that we're looking at him. So notice where I am on that C. And I'm going to make an arch that comes up and down. And then I'm going to color the arch in solid black. And you may not need to do this, but I'm going to make this line just a wee bit longer there. All right, so that's his nose and his eye. Now we're going to draw his other eye. His other eye is going to be right here, and it's going to appear to be bigger because, for two reasons, it's closer to us and the nose is not in the way. Now that see how this one looks a little higher than that one? So I need to fix that. That's a pretty easy fix. Looks like a paperclip, doesn't it? And then I'm going to color this in solid black. Kind of feel like it looks a little squished over here, so just kind of rounding it out a bit. Alright, so now he has two eyes and, of course, a nose. Alright, so for his mustache, that is going to start coming out right here on that part of his nose, and I'm going to draw just a slightly curved line that comes up like that. Looks almost like a little smile. And then I'm going to come down here just below the nose, and I'm going to draw a line that looks like 3 U's connected together. That's also called a scalloped line. So watch me first. 1, 2, 3. And remember, you can pause and rewind as many times as you need to. Now, obviously, it wouldn't just be hanging open like this, so we're going to make one more U that kind of goes up and connects with his mustache. That one's needs to come out a little bit more. All right, and so there is his mustache. For his mouth, on the second U here, I'm going to draw like an upside down arch. And then, fix that a little bit there. And then we're going to make a little curved line inside. That is his tongue. And hopefully you're kind of starting to see it. If it looks funny, just trust me and stick with me. But for his chin, we're going to start on that first U of his mustache, but kind of close to where they meet. And it's going to come down and over. All right, kind of like a little... It looks like a smile line, but it is his chin, so I'm going to come down and over, like that. Then for his ear, we're going to draw a big backwards C, like this. Again, notice how I practice a little bit before I actually do it. So I place my pencil where I want it, and I make a big backwards C. And it looks really big, but it kind of has a big ear. Okay, and then inside his ear, I'm going to make a C that's just a little bit crooked, but facing in the correct direction. And then in the middle of that C, I'm going to make a little line that comes up like that. And it makes it look basically like an E. All right, but still stick with me, don't worry. For his forehead, we're going to come up here to the nose, just a little bit in front of that first eye that we drew. And I'm going to make a little line that comes up like that. And that's just a small portion of his forehead. Then we're going to begin drawing his hat. So I'm going to come down just a teeny tiny little bit from that line. And watch me first. Again, you can pause and rewind and watch it as many times as you need to. But I'm going to come out, up, over, and then down towards the ear. And again, that's going to become his hat. Okay, now this next part is part of his visor, and it can be a little tricky too. So again, you can pause and rewind and watch it as many times as you need to. But I'm going to start right here in the middle of this curve. And I'm going to come out, up a little, and down right next to his eye. And then I'm going to make a turn and come in. And that's like his little visor that protects his eyes. Then we finish his forehead by taking this line and making it go all the way up. And then we can color in this little under part of his hat because there wouldn't be a lot of light in it and it would look dark. All right. Now for the top part of his hat, I'm going to go right about here. Notice where my Sharpie is. And it's going to come up, and then it's going to make a very sharp turn and come down right towards his ear, but it's going to stop a little before it hits it. Okay? So come up, sharp turn, come down like I'm aiming right for the ear. I'm going to stop before I get there. And hopefully you're starting to kind of see him. Mine looks almost like he was made out of Play-Doh and someone stretched out his head a little bit. But it does look like Mario. And then the back of his hat is almost like a little hill or lump or bump. So I'm going to put my Sharpie right here. And it's going to come out and in towards his ear. So again, hopefully you're seeing it. But also this is a good example of how every time a different person draws the same thing, it comes out a little different, you know, because we're not little robots cranking out the exact same product. We're people. Now right here on his hat is where we're going to make that little circle, and that's where the M goes. So I'm going to make it right here. Now it's not a complete circle because of the point of view that we have. And I'm not going to put the M in right now this second. I'm going to add it when I'm actually coloring because we don't want the Sharpie lines overpowering that M. Like if we draw it with a Sharpie and then we try to color it in red, it's going to be more black than red. So we're just going to hold off on that little part and we will come back to that when we're coloring. All right, next we're going to draw his sideburns, and they're going to be right here, just above his ear. I'm going to make 2 slightly curved lines that come out, and then it's kind of like a backwards 3, or even almost like a milk bone. Looks like a milk bone to me. All right, so that's his little sideburn. Maybe this is Mario when he's lost some weight, so his face isn't so chubby. Alright, now working on his body, we're going to be right over here, and we're going to do like a sideways, upside down U. So again, watch me first. Alright, and then, alright, believe it or not, that's his arm. And then right here for his hand, we're going to connect like a curved line coming out. And then for his thumb, a line like that. Alright, now he's supposed to have his hands kind of clutched into a fist like this. So right here on this line we just drew, we're going to do a tiny little curved line. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to just kind of come just a little bit out and back in. So come out, around, and back in. And notice that teeny tiny little line I made right there. So now his hand's kind of clutched into a fist. Alright, and as I'm sure you know, he has these little kind of teardrop, raindrop shapes on his glove. There's 2 of them, I believe. We're going to draw those and color those in black with our Sharpie. He's starting to get there. He looks a little stretched out and thin, but he's... Alright, then for his body, because he is chubby, we're going to start the body right about here, and it's going to come out and up and back in, because he's nice and round. So out and up and back in. He's so cute. Looks like we can roll him around or something. Okay, now to draw his overalls, we're going to start right down here on the bottom of his head, and we're going to make a very similar shape to this one. It's a copycat shape, but it's a lot smaller. And then for the little part where the straps are on his overall, it's like a squared off U. Like that, kind of like a portion of a little box. Okay, and then he has the buttons on his little belly. There's one right here, and it's going to be a circle. And then there's one right here, and because of our point of view or perspective, it looks like it's kind of sticking out like that. But it's, again, just because he's at an angle. Alright, now for his other arm, we're going to have a line that comes up right here. Okay. And then we're going to make a line for the bottom of his hand, and it comes down like this and up towards his mustache. Because again, it's not that it's growing out of his mustache, but it's just the way his body is turned. His face is overlapping his hand a little bit. And then it looks like the thumb is coming right out of his nose, right about here. But again, we know in reality it's not. It's just our point of view. Right, and then 2 more lines for his hand. It's going to come out of his nose again, just above the thumb. And it's going to come out, turn, and come back in towards the thumb. And then I make a little line here for the rest of his hand. It looks a little funny, but hopefully when I color it, it'll look a little better. Alright, moving on to his feet. One foot is going to be right here. It's going to come out right here on his underbelly, come down and up to the hand. It's basically a U, like that. cute. Alright, for his other foot, we're going to start right where the button is, and we're going to do an upside down U, like this. It's kind of almost like a hook. Then this is right where his heel would be, and it's going to turn and go towards his belly and go almost to his belly, but it stops just a little before, and you have that little line there. And then you need the sole of this shoe. It comes out and down, kind of in, and then again for the heel. And again, like this foot's bigger than this foot, but I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it or anything. Alright, so now I'm going to color it. I'm going to use a combination of Sharpie and colored pencils, but you can use any coloring product you want. Crayons, colored pencils, Sharpies, markers, all of the above. Just as always, remember to protect your furniture. If you're using Sharpie or something like that that could stain, put some paper under it. Like I keep this little green poster board. You can see how it's gotten dirty as we've progressed through the school year. And so that way you don't cause any damage, right? So I am going to fast forward to color, and then you can hit pause and color yours. Alright, and there he is. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm going to take my black Sharpie and go over the little lines in his ears, because when I colored that kind of peach color, it kind of washed it out. And I just wish I would have brought his hat out a little wider and maybe not made his face so elongated. But I think nobody's going to look at that and go, who is that? I think it's pretty obvious it's Mario. So basically that's it. I'm going to provide some links from the Archive for Kids from Mario and maybe a couple of the other characters from Mario. So if you have extra time and you're just interested in drawing some of the other characters from the Mario Brothers franchise, or I don't know, corporation or galaxy or whatever you want to call it, you can click on those links and that will be there for you. And my lights just turned off, so that's probably my cue that I am finished. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great week.